Ah yes, Python, the first programming language everybody ends up learning. Print hello GF. Not found. I mean hello world. Thanks to this commentator for the suggestion, I'm going to talk about something very important today. People often attach their identity to the products they consume. Okay? That's what we are in today's society. Just consumers. Okay? Fuck, I know Fight Club is a meme, but there's some serious philosophy in that movie. I consume Apple products. I'm an Apple user. All my fucking devices have that Apple logo on it. Due to this mentality, people often hate progress, change, and evolution. Once they learn a little bit about one thing, they want to stick to that one thing forever, and they never want to let go of it at all. They don't want to make any progress after that. This attitude is often attached to Python, right? It is the first programming language people learn. And for some fucking reason, they don't want to learn another one. I don't know why. It's like, C, that's for like hardware. I want to code in Python. I know like this one library that does like this one thing, and I don't need to learn anything else. And then they end up doing everything in Python, things they're not supposed to do in Python. An example of this is the Ranger file manager, okay? Ooh, I got some problems with that, right? And then they do things they're supposed to do in things like C in Python, which is just absolutely ridiculous. And I guess there's some uses to Python, like some people are going to say, oh, you can do data analysis with it, it's really good. There's this NumPy, scikit-learn, pandas, and all these libraries. But I guess that's about it. But the number one reason Python is used a lot is not actually because of these things. It's just because the syntax is like quote unquote nice or whatever, which is actually a subjective opinion because C syntax has curly brackets and semicolons, which actually make everything logically easier to understand. Python relies on white spaces and these fucking tab stops that genuinely piss me off. You have a nested loop and your code has like 50 fucking tab stops to the middle. It's just insane. Right? But in my opinion, I think C is actually easier to read. But with Python, you can print hello world in one line of code, right? But in C, you need like 7 lines of code. You gotta like define the namespace or whatever the fuck. I'm not actually a C wizard. I'm not actually a C programmer. Compiling EWM doesn't make you a C wizard. Right? People think Python is minimal or neater, but it's actually a slow, bloated mess. In Python, things are interpreted. Basically, each line is turned into bytecode, then it's executed. On C, on the other hand, the whole thing is compiled, and then it executes. You see, Python actually violates the minimalist philosophy. It adds all these extra processes of, one line, turn that into bytecode, and then interpret it. And then, you go to the next line. But in C code, you just do all the compiling at once. And then you actually run the thing. And the reason I don't like Python is it actually represents a failure in people's attitude to learning. It represents a fear of learning syntax. It represents a negligence of performance and minimalism in computer software in favor of, I don't want to learn C. Python is easier for me. The CPU will handle it, right? Using technology to compensate for people's ineptness instead of enhancing their abilities. That's what Python does at the end of the day. Hell, with modern technologies like syntax highlighting and snippets and completion engines, syntax is far easier to read and type out, right? Following syntax is very easy to do because you have so many tools helping you prevent errors. You have so many tools that avoid having to remember things over and over again. And yet, Python is more popular than ever, along with the dumbass Macs, which are bloated as fuck and have spyware on. There is no preference with programming languages. Or at least there shouldn't be, right? It's a programming language. It's not a fucking sexual orientation. If a doctor tells a smoker to quit smoking due to lung cancer, the doctor is not being disrespectful of the smoker's choice. Okay? That's not how it fucking works, okay? But for some fucking reason, when I tell people to use Vim, or when somebody tells someone else, you should really write that in C, or something a lot faster, you should not write a file manager in Python, right? That somehow is like offensive. You're just an elitist cunt with a capital C. How do you replace your personality and your humanity with an overpriced laptop, retarded brands, and then some programming language, and then accuse people who are recommending you to do things more efficiently of classism and elitism? C is probably better for whatever the fuck you want to do, okay? But for some reason they teach Python. For some reason they teach you this slow, bloated crap. And yeah, like, damn, man, those fagman corporations have really turned everybody into fucking sheep, huh? Print hello world. Huh. More like print arrogance, complacency, and ignorance, because that's the only thing shit like this promotes. But yeah, that's my problem with Python. It's not really necessary. It shouldn't really be there, but it is there. And this is why it's there. To make things quote unquote easier. Not easier. To make it so that people have to learn less. That's why it's there.